This too. All right, I am here. I'm committed. I'm doing this. It's time to lecture to an empty room. All right. Okay. Hey everybody. My name is Emel Bonty, and welcome back to the Joy Game Creation Project Bumper. Official episode 2. We are continuing with our study into learning Unity in order to uh, learn just the basics of what it takes to just learn different skill types in order before I attempt to work on a original project of my own. So first, it looked like this lesson plan is perfect for my ideals because at the end, it encourages you to pretty much design your own project, and that's pretty much what I'm here for. I intend to go into a couple other lessons later on, and then once I feel like I've had enough skill and I'm able to afford the assets that I uh, can get, I will pretty much attempt to just work on the basis and prototype of the game. I really need to um, work out the mechanics and perfect the core gameplay loop. Excuse me. Muting for nose blow. There we go. And I need, in order to do that, I need to have some proficiency with C Sharp and Unity, and I intend to take this lesson plan, and if it leads to certification, then I will be certified in Unity, and I will continue to move forward until I'm able to garnish enough support. Hopefully, the idea as well is good, and the mechanics pan out, and it is worthy of actually pursuing into actual full product, full game. If that's the case, that'll be great. And but if not, this is perfect for practice for the actual game that we've been planning for the past couple of years. Either way, I get a skill, and I'm able to uh, do something other than just my day job, and which is nowhere near as creative as even just these lessons that I've had for 4 hours. So let's move on to the next lesson. So recapping, we figured out how to place obstacles, which as you can see here, um, we were able to load the asset packs. We were able to place our car, mess around with the camera and the world, figure out how to move about freely, and the yeah, what it takes to move around the board. We learned about inserting our objects, which is our vehicle and our obstacles. Then on top of that, we learned to organize, and this is my setup, which I enjoy based on the tall layout. I kind of like what the instructor did, but I'm this works better for me than uh, it. I'm used to Vegas, and Vegas pretty much has all of the what you call stuff either to the uh, mainly to the left, and there's some stuff over here, but I just prefer to have it over to the left and just look over to the right, uh, and it just works for me. Um, we also learned our first bit of programming. As you can see, the car um, is capable of moving, albeit not too quickly. It has collision. We have camera placement, which we also learned. Um, and via several sharp scripts that we wrote, via, oh, I guess I should bring up we also installed Virtual Studio and got that working. So now we can write code and have that interact with Unity. They're tied together. And yeah, I think that catches us up. Right now, we just. Right now, we're right now we just need to figure out how to place the camera better because as you can see, it's on the lower end of the wheels. We're not really able to have really any real control with the camera at this angle. So we have to fix that. Excuse me. Um, excuse me. Forgive me, a little phlegmy. Um, I remind myself to edit this out for the YouTube stuff. And okay, and yeah, we just want to give full directional control of the car, so we can control it with either our keyboard or controller. And yeah, make sure that the camera stays kind of locked where it is right now. And to do that, we go back to our lesson plan, which I will bring up here. Oop, oops. Yes, this is where we are left off. So we are going to continue and try to finish um, quite a bit of. We're going to try to finish all of Unit 1. That is our goal, and maybe get a little taste of Unit 2, maybe set things up. But for the next 4 hours, yeah, we're just going to try to finish this off. And we're starting with 1.3, which is add an offset to the camera position, which we need to move the camera's position above the vehicle so that the player can have a decent view of the game. And now let's watch and see how we do that. Here we go.
Our camera is now positioned. Unfortunately, it positions underneath the vehicle, which is an interesting perspective, but not exactly what we're looking for. We actually want to create the same effect that we have in our camera here in our preview, so that way we're following behind the player instead of underneath the vehicle. So we'll change that perspective using some of our code. And then what we're going to do is where we're actually setting our camera's position to our player's position, this is actually where we're going to add to our player's position so that we can offset our camera above and behind our player. Fortunately, we already did some of this work before, so luckily the player vehicle is at 0, 0, 0. And then what we did with our camera is we actually put it at 5 on the Y and -7 on the Z, so it went up and then it went behind our player here. So we can actually use those values to be able to reposition our camera behind the player when the game starts. So using our update method, since we're constantly keeping track of the player's position, we want to add, in this case, we just use a plus sign like you would on a calculator, and then we should add, I believe it was 0 and up 5 meters and then back 7 meters, so -7. So that doesn't seem to work. So let's see. I believe the problem is, so in fact, our player's position is giving us a vector 3. And here, although this would make sense in our heads, this doesn't make sense to our computer at all. Our program is trying to add some statement that it doesn't exist, and it's trying to add it into our vector 3. So what we actually need to do is we need to add two vector 3s together. So we actually need to create a new vector 3, and we're going to use the keyword new because we're actually creating a new vector 3 instance. We're not creating a vector 3 variable that we're storing or saving. Since this is just temporary, we use new vector 3. And so now this will actually create a new vector 3 just for this line of code that'll have the values of 0 on the x, 5 in the y, and -7 on the z. Last but not least, we're going to add a comment to our code. So we're going to say offset the camera behind the player by adding to the player's position. Now we make sure we save. So now if we test our game, we should see that our camera is just following the vehicle. Awesome. So now we have a much better view of where we're driving and where we're going. So what you're going to do is in your camera's position, where you set it to be the player's position, you're just going to add a new vector 3 with the values of 0, 5, and -7. Now it's your turn.
Okay, let's get started. All right, exit full screen. Break down below. Okay. Okay. Let's bring up the code. Here we go. Alright. So in the void update, he wants us to put in the following. First, let's make the note for ourselves because being that we're learning, we always want to know what it is that we're doing and what it does. So always make a note that tells you just that. Um, I don't know why I sound like that. That is so corny. Good lord. Because you're not talking to anybody, you don't know how to talk to people. Okay, adding to the player's position. Alright, now let's do that. So, over in the position, we will do the adding and new um, vector 3. Just add the parentheses. Well, let's do it with, let's do it like that. 0 with an 5 and -7. There we go. Alright, save. We got the green go ahead, so it looks like we're good. Alright, let's go back to Unity, let it update. Where is main camera. Okay. Yeah, close enough. And let's take a look. Oh wow. Oh wow. Just 4 hours later. Okay. And there we go. Let's save here as well. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's mark this as accomplished because we have done it. Daddy needs his points. Okay. Okay. Um, make the offset into a vector 3 variable. We fixed the camera's position, but we may want to change it later. We need an easier way to access the offset. So I don't think I understand any of this, so let's see what we're dealing with.